This episode is brought to you by our Patreon supporters. Today's patron of the day is Quantum Chaos. Patrons get the show always ad-free and access to the extended episode with bonus content. If you don't want to miss all of that, go to patreon.com/calltheline. That's patreon.com/calltheline.
We're going to be looking at some Am I the A-hole posts, specifically in today's bonus show, specifically ones about breaking up with people for voting a certain way. That's the discussion topic in today's bonus show. Patreon.com/calltheline. Friends! I don't know sure what you were laughing at. Welcome, everybody. Oh my God. It is, what day is it? Monday? April 7th? Is that right? We got the day right? Yeah. It's Monday, April 7th, 2025. This is The Line Has a Podcast. I am Alyssa Lube.
I am Jimmy Snow.
And we are here today to talk about some important things, top of all of our minds. I really hope this is true for you. The Nintendo Switch 2, is that a topic for you that you're into?
Thinking about it all day.
Thank you.
Thinking about it all day.
Are you teasing me?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
Y'all, that was minorly ableist to take advantage of my autism so thoroughly.
My scope of playing games is pretty much The Sims. And so that means I'm playing on my computer. I don't really use I use my Nintendo Switch for Animal Crossing sometimes and Jackbox games. That's very much it.
We'll be talking more about the Trump tariffs. Elon Musk and the Republicans pushing back against the Trump tariffs. Severe weather devastating the South and the Midwest, and what Trump thought he would do while the country was melted. The economy was being destroyed. American soldiers were being buried. And what was the other one? The severe weather destroying so many people's homes. What he was up to, what he thought was appropriate that weekend will not shock you. But we are going to be starting off with this discussion about the Nintendo Switch 2. And today's question of the day, a little bit of a fun one. It's not very serious. Which Pokemon, oh my God, no, not which Pokemon. Do not answer the following question with a Pokemon or you're yeeted. You're gone. You're out, bro. Which video game character would you smash? Not just smash, super smash. Which video game character would you super smash, bro? Leave that down in the comments. We want to know who your number one video game crush is. Alyssa?
Crash Bandicoot. Lara Croft in Tomb Raider.
Sure, Laura. Now you're talking original triangle boobs?
Triangle boobs, I'll take it. That's
all. It's the perfect woman doesn't exist until you put cardboard in your bra. Just lock that shit down.
Wait, what about you?
It's hard to say. First of all, when you say Crash Bandicoot, insane to me because you seem to be being serious.
Do you want to know something so crazy? I had this conversation. I said what I said. Okay. I had this conversation with my girlfriends recently, and they thought we were playing a drinking game with it, and it was like if this person was obvious, we all had to take the person who suggested it had to take a drink. And when I said Crash Bandicoot, they were like, that's so obvious. And everyone drank. So my opinion of Crash Bandicoot being kind of hot is not.
I don't get these things. I've never I do understand that I'm a little bit further away, that I can't even anthropomorphize humanoid things into a way I would fuck them. A robot that's made to look human, that I get it. Fuck the robots. They don't have free will. They ain't got no souls, okay? You can fuck the robots. But as far as the when it comes to animals, or Avatar. When people were watching, did you see when he fucked her? I'm ooh, and I was like, bro, they're 12 feet tall. They have tails. The tail wouldn't fuck with you.
I think you're also taking it slightly fangs. More literally than we are when we're talking about it.
We're just going to keep going mildly ableist today. All right, that's cool. That's so cool.
Because I'm not actually thinking of I don't think Crash Bandicoot has a penis. You know what I mean? Because it's pixels.
Why wouldn't he? He's a mammal.
Because it's a pixel. It's a you know what I mean?
Okay, but the people who are going to answer Princess Peach aren't thinking about clapping her Koopa shell. They're going to be thinking about clapping some real cheeks.
The show.
Like we are putting.
Is Princess Peach yours?
No, probably. Okay, I would probably say Sheik, but I don't want Sheik to reveal to me that she is in fact Princess Zelda.
Okay.
I want to think that she's kind of like a girly boy.
Makes sense.
Yeah, Sheik's hot.
For you.
Sheik's hot in like.
And also kind of resembles someone I know.
Someone you know?
Well, someone you know that I know of, I think. Right?
Wait, someone I dated?
Yeah.
In the past?
Right? If I'm thinking that she looks, hold on.
Okay, I will say I dated a Sheik cosplayer years ago, and it was the hottest thing to me that they Sheik cosplayed for sure. But
yeah, okay.
But that's not somebody I dated looks like Sheik. I'm trying to think. Boy or a girl? Or a non-binary pal? Gal,
non-binary pal is so
cute.
Are
you texting me?
Well, now I will. Oh wait, yeah, okay. So you would prefer Sheik over Princess?
Yeah.
Okay, because
well, kind of. I mean, actually, we're talking about the character. Okay. Right now, I'm actually with a person who totally could pull off the princess.
That's what I'm saying. Really. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, you're saying my person now could?
Your current partner could cosplay this literally without trying. She could literally put the outfit on and that would be it.
We don't have the dynamic. I'm saying like I'd want a slightly dommy Sheik. Yeah. Not fully, like Sheik's clearly a sub, but like a little more. Okay. And my partner and I, we just don't have that dynamic. I'm sorry, I have zero sub energy in my relationships. But one night stand with a video game character, we could bend, we could adapt, we could move around.
You figure it out.
I shouldn't say zero sub energy because sometimes my back hurts, so I don't want to sometimes you just
sometimes my back hurts.
When your back hurts, you become a sub. You know what I'm saying? You lay on your back and you.
It happens to the best of us. What could you do?
Best of times, worst of times. Sometimes I pretend my back hurts. That's not true. By the way, this is our 20th episode, people. That's pretty exciting. Episode 20. Promise was going to be here, but she reminded me that she hates me and didn't come.
Oh my goodness.
It's just this is my curse. Okay, so I feel you. What you're saying as far as. My partner could pull off a killer Zelda, though. Yeah. That's for sure. Yeah. And Sheik, frankly, yeah, she could do Sheik very well. But I don't know. Is that who I would have usually said? When I was a kid, I liked those games where it would just like have people like what was the one that was a volleyball game, but it was like based on Street Fighter or something, where the girls just had like crazy bouncy boobs. Any of those bouncy boobs would be wonderful. And yeah, I don't know, just boobs are good and we can do it. Boobs are so good though. Boobs are just good. Sorry, I was getting a text on my watch at the same time.
That was so funny because as you were getting a text, you're just like zoning out going, boobs are good. Boobs are good. And you know what? I have to agree. Boobs are good. Real good.
Sorry, I need to respond to this. So who's your third? Because I need you to fill the time.
Okay, let me think. A third for a video game. I have to think because I don't play that many video games. So I have to think of like, and if I'm playing them, it's like The Sims, which is someone you build. So we can't do that. Or like Animal Crossing, can't do that. But there has to be someone that would be a good... Okay, one of the friends, when we were having the conversation about Crash Bandicoot, dead ass said Ooga Booga. I said, you're fucked up. That's creepy and weird, actually. Ooga Booga is weird. She also said Sonic, the one that's like black and blue. I don't know which.
Wow.
I'm not
in the whole Sonic sphere, yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
Sonic
She said that one too, which is crazy.
That is weird. I remember I years ago roasted a friend of mine who was like, you remember that episode in Lion King or the part of Lion King where like Simba pins Nala and she's like, Nala looks horny. So hot. And I was like,
Nala came up in our conversations too. Also, so did
don't be fucking animals, people. Jesus.
Danny Phantom is I mean, now this is just cartoons, but
Danny Phantom's a person, isn't he?
Danny Phantom is a person, a cartoon. Hot.
Sure. Shigo is hot.
Shigo, hot. Also,
Danny Phantom banging Shigo. Hot.
that would be really hot.
Yeah.
Although I think Danny Phantom's like a high schooler. I think Shigo's meant to be older. But I don't know.
I don't think cartoons really have age unless they are clearly drawn as children. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not trying to defend certain categories of definitely not my thing. Not defending that shit at all. But most characters, you can't really draw the nuances between like a 17-year-old and a 40-year-old.
Right.
If anything, I think 40-year-olds are dressed as are sort of drawn as teenagers almost.
I know. Our most unhinged collective take was, did you see A Bug's Life?
Oh my God. What?
Flick from A Bug's Life?
What? What? Wait, who did the voice of Flick?
I don't know.
I'm
But
pretty
it's
sure
a little blue ant. Who can get it, apparently.
I don't think the answer is going to please you.
Oh,
I'm trying to
no.
remember though. Flick. Oh, never mind. Dave Foley. He's a funny guy. He's funny. It's not a big deal. Oh, you know what I'm thinking of is the fucking Ants movie, which I think was Woody Allen, right?
I think so.
Deeply upsetting.
Deeply upsetting.
Chelsea Handler has said some fucking weird things over the years, but one of my favorite stories of hers is that she ends up at a dinner next to Woody Allen and she doesn't like that she's there. So she just turns to Woody Allen and his wife, former stepdaughter, and says, "So how'd you two meet?" Hilarious. Hilarious. That's the fucking like, I hope I would have the audacity.
You know what?
it.
I would be able to, I think, play that off like I literally didn't know.
Yeah. Oh, Chelsea Handler's like a comedian. She definitely knew.
But like people know she's a comedian, so I wonder if they know that
He apparently laughed, appreciating. It's like as though she was trying to break the ice and not call out what a creep he is. Yeah. It was more him in denial than her trying to sell it.
That's crazy. Okay, well, question of the day: what video game character would you super smash? And bonus, other cartoon characters that he would super smash. I want to know. I'm going to be so in the comments of this one.
This is kind of my point, though, about like cartoons not really be drawn that way, because I was just thinking about it the other day where I was like, man, as a kid, I just thought Jasmine was so hot. And I was like, that must have been where my love of older women came into play. And then I was talking to somebody. I was like, we were talking about hot cartoon characters. I was like, Jasmine, right? And, and they're like, she's 15, right? And I was like, no, she's not. Look at her. She's running around Agrabah. And you look it up. Apparently, that's
cartoon. And her waist and her wrist are the same.
Yeah, that's
and then
not
her.
Great.
Yeah, and then she's like, But
as a kid,
we're suspending when we're talking about characters, we're suspending disbelief, and so the age doesn't really matter that much.
Yeah. I'm not trying to sound like that guy who's like, well, high school people, you wouldn't even know that they're adults. They dress like adults. How was I supposed to know?
No,
but cartoons, legitimately, like I feel like I would love to like with flashcards be like, how old is this person? How old is this person? How old are the people from El Dorado? Hot, by the way.
Hot.
The Road to El Dorado.
Hot.
Perhaps the hottest cartoon characters.
Okay, wait.
Did I just get them?
Atlantis. Do you remember the guy with the glasses in Atlantis?
Yeah, Milo.
Hot.
That's like a you thing. I know you well enough to go, that's like your type. Yeah.
Yeah. And the cartoon version of Anastasia, Dimitri, hot.
Yeah.
And Anastasia, hot. Kind of a bi-panic movie.
Li Shang from Mulan.
Ooh, hot.
You know what? I just found out Milo's up high for a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay.
He was a little bit jacked. He was like nerdy, but a little jacked. Like slightly jacked. Shirt
unbuttoned too much for me to look at him and be like, there was meant to be sexual appeal. There had to be.
For the algorithm, Nintendo Switch 2.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Shall we? The delays?
Yeah, we will. But I do want to throw out a couple more. Zuko.
Who's Zuko?
From Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Oh, I was not that much of an Avatar person. I saw the first one. I'm thinking
what do you
Avatar
mean
Blue.
You saw the first one?
You said Avatar, and I thought of Avatar.
No, the Last
Blue Avatars,
Airbender.
And then I realized you said The Last Airbender. I also didn't really watch The Last Airbender, but
word. And apparently Simba is on a lot of people's hottest cartoon characters.
I'm telling ya.
Fucking weird.
Yeah. But also
Tarzan.
there are there are sex toys that are stuffed animals that have a hole for this purpose. People want to be fucking Simba. They don't want to fuck a lion, but they want to fuck the cartoon version.
Does Simba have his own anatomy for the non-hole fuckers?
I'm not sure. I've only seen what's the raccoon in Pocahontas?
Oh, I don't remember. That's disgusting.
But there's
that's fucking
Nico,
awful.
I think. Maybe? I don't know. The raccoon in Pocahontas, I've seen a sex toy that has a hole for fucking.
You know who I never thought was hot, and I remember seeing somebody else make this point recently, but everybody else did. I never thought Gaston was all that hot.
No, Gaston is not cute. Gaston is kind of gross. We talked about this on the episode with, I think, Promise and Arden. I think we talked about Gaston. I don't remember.
That must have been it. I was listening in. Yep, that's right. I did actually listen to both of those podcasts without me. And you know, it's funny because I was pretty offended when I saw the comments. This is before I listened to them. I was pretty offended. There's a lot of comments that implied this show was better without me. And it hurt my feelings. And then I listened to them and I concur. It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
It's just a different vibe. It's the girlies only.
A different, better vibe.
No.
Girl vibes.
Girl vibes.
Excellent name of a sex toy store. Or perhaps a strip club for girls.
Ooh.
Do you know why I think girls strip clubs don't do as well?
Why?
Because they primarily employ male strippers. And I don't think girls want only male strippers. I genuinely think that most girls, even girls, straight girls, want a girl stripper. You know that you did not successfully mute, right? Okay, now it worked. It was like on a delay. Oh, you muted on the computer? You all right? You dying?
I'm okay. I don't know why my mute button isn't working on my mic. I probably have to update the software, but sorry.
It's okay.
I had a little droplet of spit go down the wrong fucking a hole in my gullet. I don't know.
That's weird. All the holes in your gullet should be able to take a drop of spit.
Anyway.
It's a weird sentence to say. As I said it felt weird. I'm like, which hole would it have gone in?
I don't know.
That's so odd.
Wrong pipe.
Yeah, it happens. There really isn't as many pipes down there as people think there are, by the way. I think they think water doesn't go into their stomach. You know what I mean?
Really? People think that.
Yeah. Well, what do they think the wrong pipe means?
I guess like to where you breathe.
Right. It's if it agitates the flappy appy that's so dumb. So dumb that's how our anatomy works.
Like,
this is like, I feel like that's the best reason there's no God. This is but like that's, you can die by eating if it blocks your airway. Right. People have fully lost their lives, their livelihoods. Their families have lost people to bread rolls. Y'all, God exists and is an intelligent designer. God fucking designed us while he was fucking drunk-turbating. He was masturbating and drunk. He was drunk-turbating and he was like, people put the holes together.
I beg of you to clip that.
I'll do it.
Please.
You know I'll do it.
Please. I personally need that clip.
You know how to use the software?
I know. Oh, God. That's got to be a clip. That was really good.
Isn't it great that I never take advantage of the fact that I could at any time I could do this? I don't ever take advantage of this.
Wow, you should. That's fun.
Yeah.
That's
if
really
I ever
fun.
pull out my dick on stream, I will.
Tea.
Like, ha, here it is, everybody. No, God, no.
Oh,
no, everybody, stop. You turned on me. This turned terrible. Okay, and last week's question. We had clearly reached the end of that. Last week's question of the day was whether or not there should be a maximum wage. Read a lot of your comments, and the consensus is, of course, there should be, and then a lot of people pointing out that there isn't really a functional way necessarily to do that. A lot of you are ignoring the fact that there are assets that do have an amount, but yes, a lot of billionaires' value is stuck up in stock, and so those things have to be accounted for as well, which I don't believe in allowing. I want companies to all be worker co-ops anyway, so you shouldn't be allowed to even hoard stock. You should have to distribute those stocks to your workers. They should also become, if the company's doing that well, everybody should get rich. That would be the best fucking way.
I just realized that my sound is going through my computer and not my microphone.
Oh, it actually hasn't been bad this whole time. Oddly enough, it's been pretty okay. But yeah, we can let's switch up to the mic.
All right,
Let's improve things. That's why I could hear those footsteps earlier. Wasn't filtering it out. Wasn't as directional, people. And basically what happens is that I was trying to think of something funny to say where she like comes back in and she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? So I think I'm just going to repeat the phrase. But when I saw that aardvark mounting a tapir, because you don't see an aardvark on a tapir every day. Sorry, I'll finish up my thought and I'll come back. Alyssa's back. And when the aardvark finally dismounted, he was like, bro. And that's the end of that story. Okay.
Okay, we are so back.
Yeah. You sound great.
Awesome.
No
Sorry,
questions? I thought that would have paid off better.
Listen.
Uh-huh.
At a certain point, I'm just going to let you do your thing.
Have you ever seen a tapir's penis? Did we ever have this discussion?
I think it feels like something I don't know.
Do you know what a tapir is?
I think so.
Kind of looks like a pig, but he's got like a head with a little trunk on it.
Oh, yes.
And they have a prehensile penis that looks like an elephant trunk. They can actually grab things with it.
Yes. I've heard. Oh my God. Yeah. Ugh.
Oh,
Blech.
you Googled tapir penis?
Yeah, I did.
They are longer than their legs. You know that? Isn't that crazy? Aren't you glad you weren't born a tapir of either gender? Sex, of either sex.
Oh my God. Does it, eek? Oh my God. Is it just down all the time?
No, I think you're looking at ones with erections.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, don't worry there.
I don't really want to be looking at this anymore.
You know that those are native to America, the Americas, right? I think like Central America, but yeah, those are American animals.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
Not that anybody not from the United States call themselves American. Kind of funny. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did. I do notice that. Yeah.
Nobody else wants that label. I love talking to a Canadian. They're like, yeah, but we're not American. And I'm like, bro, what continent are you on? Okay, but that's just technically though. So that's just semantics. And it's like, no, it's just literal. Semantics and literalism are sort of the opposite of each other.
But I guess I'm trying to think if there's ever an occasion where anyone would identify themselves by the continent that they're on versus the country they're from.
Sure, Asia. We literally, Americans minimize all Asian people to simply Asian, except for the ones they forget.
But like,
they call the white peoples Russians, and they call Indian people Indian, even though they are also Asian. But
yeah.
I mean, and then when they come over here, you often hear, yes, I'm Asian. Like I've heard a lot of Asian comics refer to themselves as Asian. Mm-hmm. So the Asian continent, African Americans, Africans. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Australians. Realistically, all the continents, literally like Europeans. Yeah. That's like their whole thing is identifying as we're the one continent where it's like the United States of America has fucked up that America thing so much.
Yeah.
And we're just gonna
it's kind of like they'll just say you're from the westernized world because they so badly don't want to say that they're from North America.
Yeah. That's interesting. I think they just go with their country because also they don't want to be mistaken for being from the U.S. Canadians will never just say like, "Oh, I'm from I'm from North America." They will always be like, "I'm from Canada. I'm not the fucking problem, though." Okay, fucking A.
Fucking A.
Sorry, but I ain't one of those fucking weirdos. But they are. You're American too. You're American. I remember when I was shortly after 9/11, they started these like. Did you have in like 7th grade? They'd have a TV in the corner of the room, and you'd have to watch in homeroom like these news, the announcements, and it would be a mix of school announcements as well as some programming that was made like for all schools.
No, I don't
we
think
had that shit, and I remember like one of them was like a commercial, like a PSA. I am an American, soy americano, and they would like just go through like bunches of people from different countries saying I'm an American. To try and be like, stop being so xenophobic, you assholes. Anyway, turns out the non-whites, none of them agree.
Yikes.
And then the super whites also don't agree because Canadians are not just white. They are very white.
Well, and there's
he said, lacking complexion.
There's all different, I don't know. There's like the native population in Canada.
Yes, of course. I'm not saying, I'm clearly talking about the whites in Canada. Goodness sakes.
What? We've been very literal today.
What are we on a fucking Reddit board just trying to cancel me after all of your ableism? You're trying to make me racist? Jesus.
Listen,
trying
I have
to even it.
4 brain cells left today.
It has been a long one. I love Promise so much. I really do. But I'm
Feels
more
like there's a but.
sad today that she canceled because I think both of us wish she would have come and carried it. Plus, Alyssa and I got in this debate before the show that we didn't record.
Okay, here's the thing. Me and Jimmy are both stubborn enough that I think we're willing to volley about something that literally doesn't matter.
We're going to talk about the Nintendo Switch 2 when we come back, but you go ahead and keep going there.
Yeah. So we literally went back and forth on a celebrity that neither of us personally know and if they're nice or not based on.
Okay, that wasn't the whole of the debate. That was the last quarter of it.
Yeah, no, we were talking about
and I
what
didn't
to do
have
with
an
the male
opinion
loneliness
on
thing.
necessarily whether or not that person was mean. I was just only unwilling to accept a secondhand account.
Yeah.
A third-hand account.
For you, it's a secondhand account.
But I get it. There's a lot of that stubbornness, that debate stuff. Sometimes it can interfere with the relationship. Sometimes it can make it better. And it can also be a lot of pressure. Imagine what it's like to be me for a second, Alyssa, to debate this much and always be right. No one likes me.
Kick your ass.
We'll be right back.
This episode is brought to you by the amazing people on patreon.com/calltheline, where you can get the show ad-free and you get the extended episodes where we do bonus shows, which is most of the time. Head over to patreon.com/calltheline and sign up today. Would you like to be one of the cool people who can
Hey, welcome back, everybody. This is the line of the podcast. Oh my God, a white guy started another podcast. You know how offensive it is, the number of... First of all, look, okay, here's the thing. Is it funny once or twice to see a post that's stop letting white men have podcasts? Sure, it's hilarious. And in fact, it made me want to start another podcast. But y'all, we have to stop pretending that everybody is a great creator and should be on these. Most people should lurk on social media platforms because I'm so tired of people just repeating the same fucking joke over and over again. I have seen the stop letting white guys have podcast joke and not attributing to whoever they heard it from. They're literally just I wonder if people put it in their notes app. That's my thought.
That's funny. I've seen t-shirts that say stop male podcasts.
Sure. And I'm just it's so boring. And it's of course you want it to stop. It's currently overpowering you. You're bothered that you're right, hopefully, on the right side of things, and you have less power than these male podcasters. But you can't literally, it's not a real solution. So it's just a funny thing to say, I guess. But it's only funny once or twice, and then you keep seeing it, and you're oh, good. And clearly it's a group of people wanting to have the not all men fight again. And people have tried to bring that to me, and I'm just no, all men.
No, all of them.
Be yeah, but men, this is the problem. Men are this way. And they're looking at me I'm going to say not all men. I'm yeah, we do that though.
We had a whole conversation about how that's not true earlier.
What? No, it is all men.
Okay.
I'm not saying I actually believe that way. I'm just not going to fall for these fucking dumb traps. But you've also been with me when I've talked about male issues and stuff and how I'm it's crazy because as far as toxic men versus toxic women go, toxic men are worse and yet I prefer them because a toxic man will kill and I'll use phrases we. We'll kill you, we'll sexually assault you, we will do all these horrible things and whereas a toxic woman will just systemically ruin your life behind the scenes in ways you only suspect are happening, but aren't even for sure positive are. But she's ruining your life. I'd rather get killed by the man. I'd rather be sexually assaulted by him. I'd rather, I prefer that for myself, not for others.
That's, first of all, crazy. But also, I've always said that if I could, predict or choose what gender baby I would have, if I have children, I would prefer to have a boy because I think that they are more upfront with what they're doing. And like
You're like,
a girl,
because my daughters are going to ruin my life.
they're gonna wreck me. They will be my reckoning. They will, I know.
I probably want girls.
They'll take you down from the inside.
It's funny because I feel like I'm better suited to raise boys, but I see and am much more jealous of my brother who has daughters, of what a fulfilling like parenthood he has of them. That like I probably, but it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I'm not necessarily saying I want girls. I'm saying I want daughters like his daughters for myself. Like I want daughters like that. Cause he like, it's just the sense of purpose he gets from having like such a good family with two really brilliant daughters that are being raised well and stuff. It's just like something I'm very jealous of.
Sweet.
But he's jealous of the freedom I have in my life. Like, it's that grass is always greener shit. And it's, I do have a fucking amazing life. I'm just kidding. I'm sick all the time. It's just a silly thing to even suggest.
But your life, like you have love in your life and friends.
Finally.
And,
Finally to both. Both of those are like in the last year. And I pay all of you to be my friend. Anyway, as a joke, I know.
Oh my God.
I thought I could say it to you. I feel genuinely loved by you and Promise and Arden. And halfway with Matt.
That's fair.
I think he needs some of the cash. He needs the money a little bit. No, he'd be so pissed if he heard me saying this. He would advise him like, I'll do it for free for a month just to prove that's bullshit. But then he'd also like do it and say he was doing it, and a bunch of people would go support him on Patreon instead. Right. So he'd make more money anyway.
Right.
Anyway, no. What the fuck were we even talking about? Yeah, it is funny the way I would prefer. By the way, when you're like, that's so sad, I realize like what a shocking sentence it is. As a man, I'm saying I'd rather be sexually assaulted by a man. And part of that is because I have been, with at least one more serious instance, but also less seriously, it is a really gross and unfortunate thing that like casual sexual assault amongst men is like the number of like squirrel tapping is where you just go up and you quick tap somebody on the nuts, that's still sexual assault. Like, I don't know what the fuck why people don't consider it. No, it's just hitting you in the balls. But like, also I remember at a certain point in high school, guys being like, oh, but it's funnier instead of squirrel tapping, squirrel like wiping, where they would just like think it was so funny to just touch your balls and penis. Or my friend Dom, he tells this story about one time in high school, he was hanging out with a bunch of friends that were playing video games downstairs, and a dude walked up behind him. He was eating like peanut M&Ms, and this guy reaches his hand back. He's like, "Give me some." And the guy, as a joke, put his balls in the guy's hand instead of, and everybody thought it was hilarious. And I'm like, bro, what the fucking fuck is wrong with us?
That's really weird.
I know, and yet. Weird from your perspective. On my side, it's like normal as in it was happening a lot. It was normalized, but not, it's a dark thing that it was normal. But anyway, I'd rather that than a woman systemically tear my life apart in ways that I can't even begin to understand.
Yeah.
Just like,
We love a good takedown from the inside.
Oh man, the way conniving men always get caught. And I feel like conniving women never do. They're just like, they're smarter than us in so many ways. Conniving men, at some point, they're like, I have to tell somebody. I have to let it out. Because it's like, why do they care if they can't brag about it to somebody? And then you get some guy who's like, well, that's fucked up. I'm going to go tell so-and-so. And it all goes over. I feel like women can keep secrets to their actual grave and men can't.
We've gotten a lot of practice because gossiping is like a part of.
But gossiping is the act of not keeping secrets. Somehow you can not keep.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
Keep.
Yeah.
And by the way,
like, there's a whole thing about how, we're like taking so much time away from everything we're supposed to be talking. But like, gossiping is an interesting thing because I think that gossiping is gossiping has such a negative connotation when in reality, I think a lot of the times like women are sharing information and whatever. And I don't always think it's malicious, but it's labeled as being malicious. And I think that like, I don't know.
Clearly there are toxic forms of gossiping.
Of course. Yeah. And that is gossiping. And then other times it's like, I don't know, conversation. I remember being in middle school and finding out, I think I was in Girl Scouts or something. And they had a conversation with us about like what gossiping is, how it's not nice, and you shouldn't be doing that. And they were like, yeah, gossiping is talking about someone behind their back, like when they're not in the room. And I remember being like, well, that can't be right, because that's literally all my family does. Like we eat
and then you realize
meals. Yeah. And then we just sit around and talk about all of our extended family members and like all of the, and I was shocked. I was like, oh, I've been doing the bad thing this whole time and I had no idea. That's crazy.
To me, it's like gossiping. The bad type of gossiping is saying things behind your back that if you said it into their face, you'd be bullying them.
Yeah, I agree.
Like that.
I agree.
Or unsubstantiated stuff, trying to affect people's opinion of someone based on like rumors and stuff that you're trying to spread. But I will say this, in the same way that I think it is so fucking funny that men accuse women of being emotional, you're not more emotional than men. You just exhibit different emotions, and it's emotions that men don't value as much because they consider like the empathy or sympathy that seems to come from crying as like a sign of weakness or whatever. But men are the ones who are like, what? You bumped me in a bar? I have to take my shirt off and show you my nipples because I'm so tough and so angry. Like fucking men are not, I honestly think men may be more emotional than women. Now, women, which gender will more recognize the usefulness of a certain type of emotion and potentially be manipulative with it, that argument could be had. Because I don't think men have a more toxic thing with violence where they are angry to violence. But that's not manipulative. It's just sort of evil. It's just sort of malicious. Whereas I feel like emotional manipulativeness, I've known more women to do it than men. But no, but the men are the gaslighters. Women gaslight too, but men do it. Man, here's what I think might happen is I think everyone might just suck.
That's what that's as we've been going back and forth. I'm like, I think it's actually all the same.
Yeah. Yeah. It's sad because you're like, man, I just want to blame men for everything. And I'll blame the patriarchy for everything. But the patriarchy, unfortunately, isn't just there's too many stupid people who just think patriarchy equals men. And it's just a straight, perfect Venn diagram. Clearly, it's more than that. And it's both more than that and less than that. It's very unnuanced to just call it that. There are too many men who are victims of patriarchy to have such an unnuanced take. But yeah, it is funny where you're like, man, but I can think of a man who does this. Wait, but I can think of a woman who does, but I can think of a man who does.
Well, yeah, and you'll end up doing that all day.
Yeah. But anyway, in the same way that men are like, oh, girls are more emotional when they are clearly so emotional. Men are so fucking emotional. They just value different emotions. I also find it interesting that they want to accuse women of being overly gossipy because for real, it's just the way women tend to talk about others maybe sounds a little bit different. Women in a way, like, I feel like what I've heard of gossip that I've like been privy to will at least like try and dress things up a little bit better. Whereas men will just be like, and they're all talking about the same people. Like women who are toxic gossiping, they're all talking about, we'll call her Sabrina. And toxic girls will be talking about Sabrina, like what she's wearing, the way she presents herself and whatever. And men will just be calling her a whore.
Right.
So they're like, I gossiped, but I did it in fewer words because I'm a fucking knuckle dragging fucking Neanderthal. Like the fuck
That's really funny. I've never thought
you?
about that.
Yeah,
that's really funny.
You're not gossiping. You're just not as elegant about it. Like fuck off with that shit.
Oh my God.
What if we never did the news for the whole show? I feel like
you and I have done that before. Yeah, we've done that before.
Because it's like how much news happened between Friday and Sunday, but we do this show, or Friday, Monday. We do the show Monday, Friday. And it's kind of like we just end up going wherever it takes us. Look, the Nintendo Switch 2 looks awesome. They have fixed every problem I had with it. All of them. It's literally like the perfect console. It's a little expensive. $449 is where it's starting. If you want the Mario bundle, it's going to be $500.
Okay.
Games are getting more expensive. They're talking about $80 digital games, $90 physical games.
Holy shit.
Right. Go up from $60. So that's crazy. I think they've started to get into the $70 range. But now Trump puts all these tariffs in place, including a 24% tariff on Japan. And look, I could abide all of the rest of the economy. But no, I'm just kidding. And obviously it's terrible. But the Nintendo Switch 2, the pre-orders are now being delayed. Originally, you're going to be able to start pre-ordering, I want to say on the 9th, like very soon, while Japan figures out what they're going to do. That $449 price tag, because of this 24% tariff, it may go up even further. That amount of, and so I as tongue in, it's a little cheeky to say, of course, there are way worse reasons, but I think that it is funny that I think the Switch 2, which is it is the most beloved console because women love it as well as men love it. Mm-hmm. It's got Mario, Pokemon, Animal Crossing, huge across all the sexes and the genders. Everybody loves it. No matter your pronouns, you love Animal Crossing, except me. I could never get into it. It's clearly made for people with ADHD, not for people with autism, I think. If you have ADHD, you might also like it, but it ain't me. What is that?
That would be my mother vacuuming, and I'm going to text her and be like, and I'm going to do everything in my power to have that text not be, are you fucking serious? But in the meantime, I'll just mute myself.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Anyway, the orders, it is delayed right now. So far, they haven't delayed the actual release date so far. But again, keep in mind, $449 base price with no games, $80 base price of games coming from there, and a 24% tariff. The Nintendo Switch 2 may actually be the sort of thing that finally gets people to go, fuck you, dude. Like, you are making my life worse. And it's funny, like, I remember seeing, funny how video game culture can actually break people's illusions with certain people. Donald Trump doesn't understand computers at all. Remember that he was the one going, I turned off my son's computer. I came back 5 minutes later. It was on. I said, how'd you do that? He said, none of your business. That's a real thing that happened. That's a real, I could play the clip and it would basically sound exactly the same because, as we all know, my Trump impression is perfect. But that's the story he told on the news. He doesn't understand computers at all. But do you all remember that Elon Musk has been talking about being basically a master video gamer for years. It went on. I was part of the top 20 in the world on Diablo 2. Like, he was bragging on Joe Rogan about how great he was, and then he was talking about being the best in the world in this game that came out earlier in the year. I can't remember, and he had streamed him playing, and it became obvious that he had actually hired people to level up his character, that he actually hadn't played the character at all, that he was hiring, and people actually were able to IP trace and find out he was hiring people in China to make his character level up and stuff. And that when he went on, he clearly had no skills, didn't really know how to play it, didn't know what loot he was supposed to be getting, wasn't using the filters or whatever. And it was funny because for the first time, people who never shit on this guy were starting to shit on this guy and be like, bro, why are you lying about being a gamer? Why are you, and starting to be disillusioned. And it's funny how I think this thing will be the most immediate, because right now the tariffs are just going into effect. It's going to take a minute, not terribly long, but a minute for all of the inventory that wasn't tariffed to be sold off before prices are going to go up. So right now, you might even see short increases in overall profits for a very short period of time. Like, Apple is reporting that a lot of people are coming in and buying iPhones because they're worried about the prices of the iPhone after the tariffs. So they're rush buying Apple iPhones. They're rush buying Samsung devices. They are rush buying cars. Car dealerships are talking about people are coming in because they're worried about how much cars are going to cost. So they're coming in to get that car now, even if they didn't necessarily need one yet, because right now and then people are even doing it where they're like, I got a new car because parts are going to be expensive too. So I'd rather a car that's less likely to have parts. It's going to take a minute. And I think it's kind of funny that it may be that Japan and Nintendo right now may have an opportunity to actually turn the most people against Trump by just announcing simply. It's funny because I don't want the price to go up. $449 is not just an easy price for me. It's gonna and look, I want to get my girlfriend one for her birthday too. That's all. It sucks. I want her to have one. I want to have one. I want to be switching. I'm a super into switching, but not in the way that you perverts are thinking right now.
Oh my goodness.
And it may be that it would be crazy to me if finally we started to get Donald Trump to shut the fuck up and back the fuck off of stuff and get some people to actually defy him and be aggressive. And we're going to talk about this in a moment about some of the people who are already pushing back that are on his own team, but to be aggressive because the Nintendo Switch was going to come out at $449, but because of a 24% tariff, it now has to come out at $700. And by the way, I don't know how this all adds up. They're saying it might be more than that a 24% tariff may actually result in a 50% increase in price. So you're talking about $450, that would be $225 is 50%. Add that on top of 50% increase, you're talking about $700 after tax.
Damn.
Sales tax is going to be more than $700 for the new Nintendo Switch. Like that's what it would be coming out at. And that is bananas, BANAS. And it'll be wild if that person says it if this topic, I got a text and I was distracted by it and it all fell apart. If this is the thing that finally disillusions people with it.
But you know what? But for many people, it won't. There will still be people who are super hardcore supporters who are going to be like, and you know what? Thank God. Thank God, I will gladly pay an extra $250 because after this, that's it. It's short-term pain for a long-term gain. I've heard it a million times. And it's like, I would love to be confident that this will be the thing, and I just am not. I really am not, because this group of people somehow is so determined to continue the narrative that the tariffs are good, and this is going to be great for everyone.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Fucking hell. Should we ad break or should we continue?
Let's continue with this thing that's sort of relevant.
Okay.
We did have Elon Musk and several Republican lawmakers voicing opposition to President Trump's sweeping tariffs, citing concerns over economic fallout and advocating for free trade reforms. Elon Musk basically went on, I don't remember what it was, but it's a live stream where he used like the worst AI blurred out background. It just looks so bad and tacky. Bro, you've got all the money in the world. You can't afford like a regular green screen or just like somewhere nice you just look like fucking shit.
Just imagining like a Zoom, like when you're on Zoom and they just like blur your background.
I think it was
horrible.
something like that. It looked really
Nice.
bad though, because probably his lighting was awful. He's probably on a shitty computer because why would he know to get a good gaming computer to process that stuff better? Anyway, Musk criticized Trump's tariffs during a League Party Congress. That's what it was in Italy. He's saying he wants actually between Europe and America there to be a zero tariff framework, and that he's hoping that it can go there, and that he doesn't like Peter Navarro. No one does. Peter Navarro's mom didn't like Peter Navarro. My mom doesn't like me, so what am I fucking shitting on him? But Peter Navarro, that dude fucking sucks. And is a big guy, is a big part of like, he's this super old guy with Trump who were both like, hey, we're going to be dead soon. What if we just cause another depression? What if we just fuck the whole thing for the next people to figure out? Anyway, and then you add Mitch McConnell, which is never that interesting, but even people like Chuck Grassley trying to introduce legislation that would allow Congress to essentially take over the decisions about tariffs within 60 days. However, even if they somehow pass that in the Senate, which they could, but if they pass it in the House, Trump's just going to veto it. Like there's no chance of anything, of any improvement here going. But at least we do now have this situation where there are some people starting to kind of maybe push back, but they're such cowards that, like, we already know most Republicans oppose tariffs because most of them are on the record of talking about it in the past. Ted Cruz, that little slimy fucking sack of just seaweed. He looks like he has like you touch him and you feel seaweed.
Yeah.
Anyway, we know that he talked a lot of shit about tariffs in the past, and now he's like, well, this is a really brilliant thing from the greatest president whose penis does not suck. What do they have on you, Ted Cruz?
Did you see there was a I think it was on Threads maybe going around, and it was like a screenshot of how Ted Cruz is trying to eliminate people's preferred name, and it should be just your legal name that's being referred to. And it was like someone responded to it and said, Ted or Edward or Ted, as he prefers to be called.
Cruz.
Oh, okay.
Raphael Edward.
Raphael.
Yeah.
Okay.
That is from a couple of years ago, though. His whole that isn't his thing isn't recent.
Okay.
That
It was
speech.
funny though. I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that thread recently.
Yeah,
Anyway,
It
just
went big
reminded me.
again recently. Wow. I don't think she got your text.
She definitely did not. So I'm just going to keep muting myself. My house is not that big, so this cannot go on very long.
We're breaking into break. We'll come back when the house is clean.
When the house is clean.
I might get up and clean my house in the meantime. When we get back, we'll talk about these storms. And there was some other shit we were going to talk about. What Trump, in this week, we're going to take a little break from Trump and then come back and reveal to you, what did Trump do in this weekend of turmoil? Economy's collapsing, storms, dead soldiers. What did he do? The answer will not
shock and
surprise
surprise you.
We'll be back.
Would you like to be one of the cool people who can prove they were supporting this podcast right from the beginning? Well, you can. Head over to linemerch.com. That's linemerch.com and pick up some Founders merch for The Line as a podcast that will only be available for a short time and features the rough draft drawn logo that soon will be updated to look less like it was drawn by a 3-year-old. That's linemerch.com.
I don't know what you're going to say, but
I was gonna say I'm at like 26% and I'm nervous.
oh boy, plug it in. I'm just kidding.
It's
plugged in.
plugged in.
Plug it in 3 more times. Powerful storm system caused deadly flooding and tornadoes across multiple states in the South and Midwest. At least 17 are dead. Millions of people under severe weather warning. Lots of damage done. Our own promise, affected by the warnings at the very least, though, is safe and well and taken care of, though dealing with power issues, I think. She's worried she won't be back on Tuesday.
Her neighborhood is not great. She said her neighbor has a tree in their house right now.
I think I have to get some kind of generator this year because with my health issues, if I lose all the power, first of all, you haven't been in my home yet. Mm-mm. When you are, the first thing you're going to keep making jokes about how cold I keep the house because as soon as I hit like 78 degrees or above, I start to get sick from the heat. I am most comfortable at about 62 degrees. That's like usually pretty good. That's what I keep my house at as best I can. That's why I'm glad I've moved to a smaller place and this is going to be much more manageable with the air conditioner because holy shit, the electric bills in the summer last year at my old place.
I can't even imagine.
Too much. Anyway, lots of rain, lots of floods, lots of destroyed things. And I mostly wanted to bring this up because keep in mind that as all this is happening, Donald Trump is trying to defund and get rid of FEMA.
Right.
As people are going to need more and more help. And this is tornadoes that have destroyed some homes and then other bits of damage all over the place. We're about to enter hurricane season again. And the forecast for this year, granted, you never know for sure, but they are not good. They are saying the different ways things are matching up with El Nino or La Nina. I don't remember which ones are what doing things, but I'm really into the weather, but it's supposed to be, we have a high risk of a shitty hurricane year. Luckily, I'm a little inland. Hurricanes don't hit us too bad here, though a couple of years ago, Austin did get flooded despite the fact that it usually doesn't, got flooded by a pretty bad hurricane. But as the Trump administration is basically saying, we don't really want to fucking take care of people anymore. We'll just give the money straight to the states. They totally won't reallocate that to their bullshit. Mm-hmm. It is looking bad, not to mention that he has been trying to anchor that aid now to trying to get his political ways to say we're not going to give money to California unless California changes laws in ways we like that have nothing otherwise to do with the actual disasters. You are paying taxes to a government that is supposed to return that value to you, and Donald Trump is trying to keep your tax money hostage and make you bend to his will. Fuck this guy. When the fuck is cholesterol going to do the job that I've been getting warned about? I'm 35 and had to lower my cholesterol.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't have to? What the fucking fuck? I'm 35, and if let's get rid of the fact that I've been obviously extra sick for the last couple of years. Let's say before all of that. If I ate brisket, I needed a nap. This guy can down a bucket of KFC and seemingly just go like the Energizer Bunny. And I'm not saying he's healthy. He's not. Look at him. Yeah. He looks like he just pooed himself. Always. Because he did. He did just poo himself. I'm fairly certain. Those are the guys.
Have you seen the when people make like videos? I think I see it mostly on TikTok where it's like what I'm gonna do the day that it happens.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's like the funniest, craziest unspoken agreement that we all have that we're like, yeah, we know what it is.
Yeah, I'm 0% saying it should be done to him. I'm saying he'll fucking old and the world that I've been told nature works a certain way that it's just ignoring. Mm-hmm. He bullied nature away somehow. The nature, it comes here with its curly heads.
He's a really good negotiator. That's why.
Apparently, with Father Time, he has negotiated. I don't know if Father Time got nights with Melania. I don't know what the fuck happened.
God.
All I know is this guy shouldn't be, and yet he is. And I definitely am not saying it. No one should, right?
Yeah. Right.
Oh. But I was happy when Rush Limbaugh died of lung cancer. I was happy he was gone, that the era was over. And I failed as a secular humanist in that moment as I found myself delighting in the fact that it sounds like he suffered a little in the end.
That was the most diplomatic and beautiful way that you could have said. I failed as a secular humanist.
I will admit, I know I am not a perfect secular humanist. I do not always meet the standards that I hope others will do better than me for. And I think I do a pretty good job. But when a fucking fascist falls, I'm just like, bro, I wish the stairs were longer. Concrete steps at the top, like from the Joker movie. Tumble.
God.
Tumble.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, I do not delight in the idea of political violence at all. And no one should delight in it. Even if you think it's necessary, you should never delight in it. No, I'm just kidding. You should never delight in it.
You're like, and
against people. Look, here's the thing. The Tesla stuff that's happening probably shouldn't happen. It's probably, whatever. It's funny.
Listen, as long as people aren't getting harmed.
Right. Vandalism is a type of civil disobedience. And granted, you're going to go to jail, but
it's not great.
You shouldn't do it.
But also, like, you
could do more out of jail. So don't get caught doing that. And the simplest way to not get caught doing that is to not do it. They have cameras all on them. They're super easy to trigger. Don't get caught doing those vandalisms because you shouldn't do those vandalisms. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it very directly.
Yes, so and your message, and you've always said that.
Right, and what are you going to hit report to something where I am saying, do not do political violence and do not vandalize Teslas. Don't do it. You can do more good out of prison. I had this this would be the wrong time to smile feeling, and then I was like, and then I smiled. No violence. We don't do that, and that's not what we're about here. We're a communication arm of this movement, and that's what we're always going to be. So no violence. When he dies of natural causes.
Yes.
Yep. Go to Dave & Buster's.
Yeah.
You want to go to
Dave & Buster's. I'm going to get some mozzarella sticks.
Oh, the mozzarella sticks.
I'm going to get mozzarella sticks and get fucked up at Dave & Buster's.
I'm going to ask them to roll them in Cheeto dust.
Oh, just for, as an homage.
Just to be like, and I will toast him to Donald Trump's failing health. I just want to say that when it comes to Donald Trump and heart disease, my heart goes out to heart disease. Okay. Just look, I don't need it. By the way, it's like, I'm not saying I need him to die. I just need him to go away. You can move him to Mars. Same thing. Without a spacesuit. Okay. Let's talk about then what's been happening. The economy has been failing. Economy is it was already on the brink. By the way, he's going, we had to do something because we had a terrible economy. We inherited this terrible economy. Meanwhile, the economy has sucked for anybody who isn't rich for a long time. By every measure, though, that we measure the economy was great. Inflation was back down to under 3%, super low unemployment numbers. He's just straight up lying about what he inherited. And he didn't solve shit. The shit sucks. Yeah, it was getting louder. It was getting closer. It's almost on purpose. that vacuuming's coming for you.
I know.
I think you're being trolled.
I honestly,
It feels
I think
a little.
it's because it's late. So she's like, I'm going the fuck to bed whether you're working or not. So.
Yeah. So, because, and of course, the house has to be vacuumed.
If you knew my mother,
I
yeah.
already kind of, I'm like, your mother's an Italian Catholic woman who
Yes.
grew up in the 50s, 60s?
She was born 66.
Okay, grew up in the 70s, 80s, fine. And, you know, they weren't burning their bras.
Right.
Not where she was. Not where she was.
Certainly not.
Lovely woman. Or not, I don't know. I've never met her.
No. She's great. She's
Wonderful
great.
woman.
And we love her and wish she wasn't vacuuming right now.
Yeah. Really wish she wasn't vacuuming. Do you think she's ever systemically destroyed somebody's life without them ever knowing and kept the whole thing a secret, never even told you?
I think I'm waiting for that other shoe to drop. I think maybe she's still cooking.
Do you think she's done it to you?
That's I think I'm her primary target. She told me earlier today that she was I would like to preface this by saying I'm in a relationship. I'm so happy.
Yeah.
My sister's getting married soon, and it's like that's the only like big stress in my life right now. Career stuff is like fine. Earlier today, she told me she was going to pray for me. I said, why? I was like, why? Just me? And she said, yes. And I said, I'm fine though. Why did you say? So I think it's that. I think it's like that sort of.
I would have just asked, why is it important for you to tell me you're doing that? Why not just go do it? If it's going to work, it'll work either way. Why are you telling me when you know I don't believe in that shit?
I was not ready for that conversation earlier
I'll
today.
have that conversation with your mom.
I'm
Hey,
sure
Mom.
you will.
I'll do it.
Hey, girl.
We got to talk. Anyway, economy is getting fucked. 4 people died and were being buried. Soldiers being buried after dying. And I'm trying to remember where they were. I had all the notes down. Because he straight up skipped their funeral. It was a thing he was supposed to go to. Instead of this ceremony for these U.S. soldiers that were killed overseas. I had it written down. It's one of the
It was
countries.
began with an S, and now I'm losing.
An S? I thought it began with an L. Was it Syria? It wasn't Syria.
No. Oh, Lithuania. I'm sorry.
Lithuania. Yep, there we go. Lithuania. I never remember that country. Lithuania. 4 soldiers died there. It was a big thing that he didn't even know about it. It was revealed when they asked, like, what are you going to do about it? He's like, yeah, what? Kill dead who's? And the country bombarded by these terrible storms, people losing their homes, lots of damage, millions and millions, billions of dollars of damage, people dead. Donald Trump, what's he do? You already know. He golfed. He went out and he golfed in his weird shorts or pants. I think he wears pants mostly. Yeah, it's pants. And those weird pants that he hikes with. Have you noticed that like he always has been bad at wearing a suit, but he is really bad at wearing a polo and khakis.
Oh my God.
He tucks the polo in.
For a person who has as much money as he does, he's like one of the least well-dressed people I've ever seen in my life.
And there are zero, like, okay, with the suit, you can get the camera angle fine enough where you're like, fine, you look like a guy in a suit. We can't see that you're wearing too big a jacket, too long a tie. All that you look like you can afford a tailor, but you look like you just pulled something off the shelf and said, fuck it. Fine. And your weird centaur posing where you're like step forward, all that's weird too. But you can angle it where it looks fine. There isn't a good angle of him in the polo and the pants.
No, it just looks bad.
All of them are bad. Somebody called into Matt's show this last Wednesday and said he looked like Humpty Dumpty. I'm like,
yes.
what? Because he's bald? Because let me tell you who looked like Humpty Dumpty. Fucking, he hikes those pants up to his rib cage and tucks in the polo.
Yes.
I think his nipples are getting chafed on his belt strap.
On the belt. I agree.
Who is letting you do this? And you know what's funny is if we would make a bigger stink, Republicans would start doing it and say, like, this is actually what's hot. This is what's in fashion. This is what looks good. Because they started doing the stupid dance.
I'm shocked that there isn't like oh my God. So bad. I'm shocked that hasn't happened. I'm shocked that hasn't happened already where like people haven't started like dressing like Trump and making that into a thing. It'll come at some point through all this. But anyway, he decided he was going to golf. He was going to take his fat ass to go golf at Mar-a-Lago when there were several tragedies to attend to. And all I could think of is like any other president would get absolutely raked over the coals if they did
did
that.
get raked. There's literally so many clips of people complaining about how many times Obama played golf. And fucking Trump I'm pretty sure this could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's right, that he played more golf in his one term than Obama did in his 2. They were literally, and Trump, before he became president, before he won, was shitting on, there's a clip, you can go watch of him going, you know, when Obama's out there golfing, when I'm president, I'm not going to have time to golf. I'll be too busy running the country, unlike this president. And literally golf, which
it's just so disrespectful.
Is that they pretend he's good at it. He wins tournaments at his own clubs because he's so good at it. And they pretend it makes him an athlete. Right. Shut the fuck up. You do not get to call it a sport if you drive around in a little tiny car between holes. That is not a sport. And you know how I know? Because when I was 13, I drove old people. And they weren't even doing the cart themselves. I was driving their cart.
Bad.
And now I'm a tremendous athlete. Look at me. Look at me.
And I've always said that about you.
Thank you. All right, well, we're going to the bonus show, people, because this show is nonsense, and I hope it gets out on time. Sorry for the late stuff last time. Sorry for...
It's okay. Listen.
I'm sorry for so much, honestly. Oh, my head coming through. We're going to go to the bonus show where we're going to do some Am I the Asshole, but I really want to talk about this topic on, is it okay to break up with somebody based on how they voted over politics? Is it okay to, oh my God, you don't want to be my friend because of politics? You blocked me because my politics were different? What does that mean? Is that okay? Can you? Should you? Must you? Did you see Elon Musk wearing a bulletproof vest in a super unflattering shirt?
Oh my God, he's such a fucking loser.
Someone wrote more like bulletproof breasts. We'll see you next time. Welcome